Some players dominate the league with flash. Some talk their way into the spotlight. Julio Jones, he let his game do the talking, and it screamed louder than everyone else. But to understand how good he really was, we have to go back to a small town in Alabama, to a mother who raised a warrior. Julio Jones' real name is Quintorius Lopez Jones, and he was born February 8, 1989, in Foley, Alabama. His nickname Julio came from his mother, and it stuck since he was in the 7th grade. But his mother, Queen Marvin, worked hard to keep food on the table. He would eventually attend Foley High School, and he wasn't just good, he was legendary. As a junior at Foley High, he had 75 catches for over 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. And as a senior, he was unstoppable. 68 receptions, 1,181 yards, and 16 more touchdowns. But it wasn't just football. Julio was a track and field monster. He won state championships in long jump, triple jump, and high jump. He was an athletic freak of nature before he even turned 18. Everyone in Alabama knew his name, and in 2007, he was named a 5-star recruit and the #1 wide receiver prospect in the nation. Every college came calling, but there was only one place he wanted to go.
I'm going to make my decision by where I feel the most comfortable and where I feel like home at. So I'm going to be going to the University of Alabama.
In 2008, Julio committed to Alabama, becoming the first true freshman wide receiver to start under Nick Saban. As a freshman, Julio didn't just make noise, he kicked the door in. He finished the season with 58 catches, 924 yards, and 4 touchdowns, leading the team in all 3 categories at just 18 years old. In his matchup versus #3 ranked Georgia, it became clear a star was born.
One of them. Nobody else in big-time college football has played fewer, and this pass intended for Jones is a touchdown.
He helped Alabama to a 12-2 season. They finished the year ranked #6 in the country. Julio wasn't just playing well, he was already the best receiver in the SEC. He had a down year in his sophomore season, but he still put up 596 yards and 4 touchdowns, and his presence opened up the field for others. Bama would end up going undefeated that season, thanks to their elite defense and Mark Ingram, who won the Heisman that year. But Julio was still making impact plays, whether it showed up in the box score or not, and the end result was Alabama's first national title since 1992. Then came 2010, and Julio went off. In his junior season, he had 78 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He set Alabama's single-season reception record at the time, but more importantly, he carried the Tide's passing game in a run-heavy offense. And then, there was the Iron Bowl, also known as the Cam Newton comeback game. The Crimson Tide was up 24-7 at halftime, and Cam led Auburn to a comeback, and they won 28-27. But let's not forget what Julio did that day. He finished the game with 10 receptions and 199 yards, along with a touchdown. When he declared for the NFL draft, he blew the doors off the combine.
Oh yeah,
Mark Ingram's teammate,
oh yeah,
wide
stole
receiver
the show.
Julio Jones.
Stole the show.
He ran a 4.39 40-yard dash on a fractured foot at 220 pounds, and coaches called him the perfect receiver prospect. By the time the NFL draft started, his draft stock was already sky high, and someone was ready to make a move. The Atlanta Falcons saw what everyone else did, but they didn't just wait around. They traded 5 picks, including 2 first-rounders to move up and grab Julio at #6. That's how rare this guy was. That trade might be the greatest move in Falcons history. In his rookie year, Julio showed a glimpse of what he could become. He finished his rookie season with 959 yards and 8 touchdowns, while sharing targets with Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez. The following year, he had his first 1,000-yard season and his first Pro Bowl nod. And from 2014 to 2019, Julio Jones was arguably the best receiver on the planet. He also led the NFL in receiving yards twice. In that span, he had over 9,000 yards, which was more than any other player, and averaged 100 yards per game. Julio had 6 straight seasons with over 1,300 yards. And guess what? He did it with a turf toe, hip injuries, ankle sprains, you name it. And in 2015, he had 136 catches for 1,871 yards, which was the second most receiving yards in a season ever. But Julio was a problem for every defense every week. His most iconic performance came in Week 4 2016 versus the Carolina Panthers.
And Ryan is going to go deep for Julio Jones, and Jones makes the cut. 3rd and 17, Ryan going deep, and the receiver Jones is there to make the play.
Ryan. There it is.
And they got another one, Julio Jones. Hit once, hit twice, and gets into Panther territory.
Julio had 300 yards in one game, but he wasn't just a stat machine, he was clutch. In the 2016 NFC Championship, Julio had 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. including a 73-yard catch and run where he stiff-armed a guy into another zip code. And in the Super Bowl, Julio made one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history, a toe-tapping sideline grab that looked physically impossible. Julio did everything right. He showed up, he produced, and he gave the Falcons everything he had. But the one thing he never got was a ring. The Falcons blew a 28-3 lead, and it still hurts to this day. After a decade of dominance in Atlanta, injuries began to take their toll, and in 2021, Julio was traded to the Tennessee Titans. Expectations were high, but the results were mixed. He had flashes, but only managed 434 yards and 1 touchdown. In 2022, he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to play with Tom Brady. It was a veteran squad chasing the ring, but Julio's role was limited, and he finished the year with just 24 catches. And in 2023, he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles mid-season, providing veteran leadership and depth for a contending team. While his post-Falcon years didn't mirror his peak, his legacy had already been cemented, and he recently announced his retirement from the NFL. So how good was Julio Jones? At his peak, he was one of the most feared wide receivers in NFL history. A 6'3", 220-pound alien who ran a 4.3 and made grown men look like toddlers. He finished his career with over 13,000 yards, which is top 20 all time. He might not have any rings, but make no mistake, Julio Jones was that dude. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing.